Okay guys, so I've done a lot to the car in the past 2 days, so I figured I'd just go ahead and tie all of this into one video. But as you can see, here's the front end of the car. Since I've had it, I've cleaned it up just a little bit. It's not polished or anything, so you guys can see if this car was polished up, it would look really good. But it's just wiped off with a quick detailer spray. That's all it's done to the paint right now. I put the yellow fog light housings in. I got both finishing rods put in because they were both missing. Well, the driver's side was, and then the passenger side I hit a raccoon, so it destroyed that side. But anyway, that's my eBay lip, and that's for the facelifted 335i's. I think the 2009 and up, but it fit on my 2008 perfectly fine, and it's the gloss black one, so it matches the black paint on the car almost perfectly. So for $50, can't complain. The fog light housings, both of them were cracked, and they were just, you could tell they've had water intrusion, and over time the condensation and stuff, they just look really bad. So I think that really helped the front end of this car out a lot. I wish I had matching headlights. I think the front end of this car is really shaping up. It looks really good. I mean, I'm super happy with the way it looks. And disregard my garage. I've been doing I framed up this wall right here, busted down this wall, and my family came and helped me, so there's tools everywhere, sheetrocks everywhere, the dust. So it's really claustrophobic and dirty right now, but it makes the car look even better. You know, it's nice and clean inside this filthy garage. You can see I gotta finish up these receptacles. So there's a lot of projects going on, you know. I really should be putting that stuff first before this car, but I was getting overwhelmed with parts, so, you know, instead of all these boxes taking up space, you know, might as well go ahead and throw them on the car. And yeah, front lip, those fog light housings. The car is running right now. I wanted you guys to hear how smooth it was. But something else I done, I got that valve cover replaced. So let me show you guys this aluminum valve cover. But these valve cover bolts have been loosening up. So every heat cycle I've been having to retorque them because they loosen up. So if you guys buy one of these aluminum valve covers, don't reuse the gasket that comes with the valve cover. Make sure you use like the OEM gaskets. Anyways, I had to rip the old gasket out, put the new one in, upgraded the PCV valve as well. I put a metal one in it. Which you can't see it, but it is upgraded. It's inside the valve cover. These valve covers come with one pre-installed, but I don't know the quality of it. Oil cap, I had to reuse it. They don't give you a new oil cap. But anyways, the bolts are backing out, and I've had to retorque them. So if you guys buy one of these valve covers, use like the orange Loctite and torque these down and be done with it. I'm thinking about going ahead and pulling out each individual bolt in the torque sequence and torquing them down. And my phone's on 5%, so I'm gonna hurry and wrap this up. You know, this video is gonna be very long as it is, but I'm gonna start my very long video with this one just so you guys can go ahead and see what all I've done to it. So when the next clip starts, you're gonna see the car, how it looked before I done all this to it. So yeah, valve cover's been replaced and the gasket. And I love this aluminum valve cover. It looks really good. It's got this metallic paint finish on it, but the valve cover bolts, you have to use the bolts that come with the kit. You can't reuse the OEM ones because the those little metal sleeves won't fit into the machine holes in the valve cover. So definitely buy some Loctite if you guys are considering this valve cover. Okay, cutting it close, 3% battery life, but I also put wheel spacers on the back. Those are 20mm. I'm thinking I need to go a little thicker because the stance is a lot better than it was. It's still got that tuck look, and I can't stand that. But anyways, the car desperately needs a bath, so don't judge it. Oh, and I got that inspection sticker off the windshield. I have to finish up the adhesive on it. Like I said, the car needs a lot of love, but we're shaping it up as we go. So, yeah. Okay guys, quick update on the 335i. I have the aluminum valve cover on the way. It's actually out for delivery, so I went ahead and started stripping everything apart to get this valve cover off, but I don't have the right tool or socket. There's like these 3 ground studs. They're super long and skinny, and it can't be too thick because it needs to fit inside the, like this little casting for the valve cover. You see how it's circular. So I'm gonna have to make a trip. I don't know who would have a socket like that. Let's see if Harbor Freight might have a socket. It's got to be long and skinny, and I believe it's a 10mm. So anyways, yeah, I've been doing some things to the car. Put the front lip on it. I cleaned it up a little bit. I mean, I gave it a wipe down, but this gives me an idea of just how nice the paint and condition of the car is. I got that front wheel cleaned up, so the car really can clean up. I can't wait to actually polish it, put a ceramic coating on it, and get it looking really good. Put some Cerakote trim restore on the roof up above, and it used to be like chalky white looking. It was absolutely terrible. So I'm thinking it's going to need a second coat over it, because you can kind of see like the streaks. You can see I went in straight lines all the way across, made a crisscross pattern. You can see on the trim here, I've done the same thing with it. Cerakote trim restore. It really brought the gloss back out on the carbon fiber print of this wrap. And even though you can see the streaks, this looks 100 times better than the chalky white gray. I mean, you couldn't even tell it was carbon fiber. It looked like the top of this car was painted white. So now that I have the gloss back on the wrap, I think the car looks so much better. And the LED lights in the garage really, you know, emphasize those streaks. But I did bring it out in the sun. Natural lighting, it looks way better. I mean, if you really focus, you can see it. But then again, this is a $2,500 car, so I'm not too worried about it. If push comes to shove, I can always peel that off. If the paint's good underneath, awesome. I would just leave it like that. If not, I'll just pay someone to have it wrapped. But anyways, I got this front lip for it. It said it was for the facelifted 335i's. They have a slightly different bumper, but it still worked perfectly on the 2008. I think this lip was made for like the 2009 and up cars, but as you can see, look at it, it looks like it was meant for the car. It looks great. It really changed up the look of the front end. I think it looks so much more aggressive. I have the yellow fog light housings on the way, and when I bought the car, they call this piece of trim right here on the mesh that you see right there, they call that a finishing rod. And I've tried looking that up, and Google gets so confused. It will show results for fishing rods. So I finally found a set of those to replace. The passenger side had the finishing rod, and you could tell they were paint matched to the car. Someone had paint matched them because they're normally chrome. Well, 2 nights ago I hit a freaking raccoon. I mean, he was sitting on the side of the road. He went across the road, turned around as I was driving by, and I smacked him. And as you can see, it knocked that off and it broke. Probably the mounting tab for that fog light housing. I don't know until I get up underneath it. Luckily, I didn't have this lip on. You know, I just put this on last night, and it looks great. I may have to take it back off to remove that mesh and stuff, so that was a bummer. But luckily, when I bought the trim piece for the driver's side, it comes in a pair, so it's almost like the car knew there was a fresh pair on the way, so it decided, hey, I'm gonna speak to the brain of this raccoon and have him smash into it and break it, so that way we both get brand new finishing rods. I don't know, but yeah, so I can't wait to get this car polished up, looking really good. I have some wheel spacers coming for the rear because that stance in the back, that tucked in look, that's gotta go. That's terrible. So once I get that kind of spaced out, it'll fill in that quarter panel a lot better. I think that'll look good. Of course, like I said, I've said it 100 times, get this thing detailed, cleaned up, ceramic coated. This black will shine like a mirror. It has swirl marks, but the overall condition of the car, no rock chips, nothing crazy, no dents or dings. I mean, for the price, matter of fact, I want to share something else with you guys since I've been tearing this valve cover apart. But for the price I gave for this car, any car that runs and drives for 2,500 bucks that can get you from point A to B, like this car, it would do that, but it would mark its territory. It'd leave giant puddles of motor oil all over the ground. So I'm fixing that right now with the valve cover. I originally thought it was the gasket that was bad, but it turns out the valve cover itself is cracked. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell in the video or not, but there was like a, you can see a plastic casting mark right there. See how it kind of overlaps? Well, if you look right at the rounded corner, you can see there's a crack. And matter of fact, that crack actually goes around the whole top end of the valve cover, right beside the oil cap. And I've looked it up. That's a common problem on the N54 engines. So I have the aluminum valve cover on the way. Hopefully it's not a complete piece of garbage. I'm going to put it on with a new OEM gasket. Hopefully fix this oil leak. I've already replaced the oil filter housing gasket, and it was fairly easy. This right here, it's kind of tedious. It's just more wiring management. I don't know if you guys can see here, but I have this whole coil block harness kind of zip tied out of the way. Both of these, like brackets for the coolant reservoir, vacuum tubes, they're loosened up and kind of push out of the way. Main wiring harness, I have it zip tied up against the firewall. There's a couple other vacuum lines that had to fold over right here. You can see them with that yellow clip. That stuff moved out of the way, so the valve cover is right there. You know, nothing's in the way, so it should just come right off. New one right back in without anything getting in a bind. So you can see the fuel rails off. I've seen some videos where guys take the individual fuel rails off for the injectors. I have no clue why they do that. You know, and a lot of guys, I don't know why they don't zip tie the main wiring harness over to the firewall like that. I'm going to leave it like that just in case I ever have to do this again. It just kind of cleans things up because, you know, once the plastic cowl and everything's on, that's all going to be hid anyway. Anyways, I don't know. I'm not a BMW guy, so maybe there's a reason they leave everything just kind of flopulating over there in the corner. But I don't know. I feel like this just ended up being more clean. But yeah, like I was saying, some guys pluck the individual fuel rails going to the injectors, and I just took the 17 off and then undone the, you know, individual nuts and took the whole assembly off. I didn't take the individual fuel rails off, so it came out in one big assembly. I'll show you guys. Here's some oh yeah, here's these coils. There's some good parts on this car. You know, I have no service history on this car, but let's see, Delphi. We have Delphi coils. Here's the fuel rail, and something that really surprised me. I know the fuel injectors on this car were replaced in 2010, and that year was the Index 9 fuel injectors, and a lot of people complain about those, say they're worse than Index 1. So I was scared when I took this valve cover. Well, since I've been getting into it, this car may have Index 9s in it, but turns out someone's been in this car before, because this car has Index 12s all the way throughout. And the price of Index 12, brand new Index 12 injectors nowadays, is around $2,500. So it's like I bought a set of injectors and I got an entire car with it. So the price that I gave for this car is the exact same price as those injectors. So if you guys are unfamiliar with BMWs, you know, these are direct injected engines. BMW's always had issues with the fuel injectors on these cars. There's been 12 revisions. The Index 12, that's what that means. It means there's been 12 revisions of these, and I guess they finally got it right with Index 12, because that's your latest fuel injector. That's the fuel injector everyone says you need to get. So if you guys have an N54 and you start having fuel injector problems, I would do things frugal. I just replace the one injector, you know, to save money, because they are expensive. They're like $500 a piece. But if you were going to order an entire set, I would definitely order them off of FCP Euro, because I want to keep this car, and I was always telling myself, if I'm going to keep this car, use it as a daily, I'm just going to put a lot of money into it, because it's going to be my car. I'm going to keep it. It's not going to be a flip, because there's money to be made off this car. But $2,500, I might want to get a car this nice. I don't care to put money into it because I really don't have that big of an initial investment to begin with, if that makes sense. So, like I said, if this car didn't already have those injectors, I'm just going to buy the set off FCP Euro because they lifetime warranty everything. So you buy once, cry once. If you're going to keep it, I would highly recommend doing that, because if you ever have an issue with the fuel injector, box it back up, send it to them, and they will replace it. Lifetime warranty. You cannot beat that type of customer support. So I have an oil change kit and stuff coming from them, and matter of fact, they have a lifetime warranty on motor oil. How that works, I don't know. I don't know if you send them your old oil that you drain or an empty bottle, but apparently they will replace your motor oil for free. Lifetime warranty. It's crazy. So yeah, I have to give a huge shout out to FCP Euro, because in all the different car platforms I've been in, the Coyotes, GT500s, even LS cars, GM stuff, you have some good websites like CJ Pony Parts, for example, LMR, love it or hate it, American Muscle. Some people hate it, some people. I've always had good luck with American Muscle, but they have pretty good customer support. But I think FCP Euro is definitely top tier when it comes to other parts vendors I've dealt with. Like even VMP, they're really great guys for GT500s. I love their customer support. You can message the CEO of VMP privately, and he is super responsive. I've had some questions I've sent to him, and he replies great. So I love parts vendors that have great customer support, and I love getting into a new platform like this. This is all brand new to me. BMWs, German cars, all brand new. It's kind of overwhelming at first, but at the end of the day, a car is a car. They have cylinders, and they have combustion chambers, they have fuel injectors. It doesn't matter how the format of it is. I mean, at the same principle, at the end of the day, it's a car, So you do need little special tools, like all the E-Torx. I had to buy an E-Torx kit just to do this valve cover job and the oil filter housing gasket. Quirks like that with German cars, but overall, as far as maintenance and stuff, every car needs stuff like this done to it. Fuel injectors, coil packs, spark plugs, it's all the same. So I think these cars get a bad rap because nobody maintains them, and they're too lazy to maintain them, or they take them to people to have them maintained, and they don't know how to work on these cars specifically and break stuff. And this day and age, there's really no excuse to not be able, like if you are a mechanic, there's no excuse for you not to be able to work on a car, because there's so many YouTube videos, so many forums out there that give you the tricks and tips of the trade. So like me, I know how to wrench. Don't know how to wrench on a BMW specifically, but a couple YouTube videos later, and now I'm a professional. Not really, because I don't even have the right tool to get this valve cover off. But yeah, this it was tedious. There's one in the very back corner up against the firewall, in the corner where the harness is zip tied. That was very difficult to get to. But yeah, and some other things I've found out about this car. It has index 12 injectors. The service history on this car, if you run it on Carfax, you can see like every 20,000 miles the coil packs, spark plugs were replaced. It had your routine oil changes every 5,000 miles. So this car was a corporate car, then it was a leased car for the majority of its life. All the mileage pretty much was racked up through the lease and its corporate usage. I don't know what corporate usage means. I don't know what business maybe used this as a business car. It wasn't really a personal car until later in its life. So the maintenance was, pretty much up to date. And then everything kind of goes gray in 2018. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It means somebody, privately could have worked on this thing. I know someone privately done these fuel injectors. I don't know if they took it to a shop or if someone done them themselves, but there's no record of fuel injectors being done on this car except on the Carfax for 2010. And Index 12 injectors didn't exist back then. I think it was Index 9. So someone has wrenched on this car before. I wish I knew the history behind it, but I don't know anything about it. Only thing I can tell you is it has these burger intakes, and I think it has their upgraded charge pipe. It's aluminum powder coated there. Other than that, the intercooler looks stock. You really can't tell much just by looking up in there, but It has, of course, like I said, the charge pipe intakes, and it does have an XHP transmission tune. What stage tune it has, I have no clue, but I didn't know this. I thought it was factory, but when you drive, like when it's in drive, not sport or manual mode, but if it's in drive, it shows you each gear indication, like D1 all the way up to D6. And I've been doing some research, and apparently a trans tune XHP is the only thing that lets you do that, like it unlocks that feature. So I bought an MHD OBD2 dongle for this car, because I eventually, once I get everything fixed, I'm going to put a stage 1 tune on it, and I'm just going to leave it as it is on stage 1 for a while, and maybe later down the road I'll get a front mount intercooler, down pipes, do a cat delete and stuff, have a little fun with it. But right now, just stage 1 with whatever this trans tune is. I wish I knew. If there's any seasoned BMW guys, is there a way to check? I know with MHD, like, it should show you the last flash history, so I can see if it has a tune on it, but I highly doubt this thing is tuned, because it feels bone stock, it feels sluggish, it feels slow. I mean, it's no slouch, but then again, I'm coming from like 700 wheel horsepower cars to this, these things are 300 crank, so what is that, 250 wheel maybe, and it's definitely what it feels like. So I think a stage 1 tune brings it up to almost 350. It's almost 100 horsepower difference through a tune, because you go from like 7 psi to 12, almost double, so yeah, stage 1 tune I think is what I'm going to do with it. Leave it like that for a while, see how the car does, mechanically. I have some other parts for it here. It's Christmas every day, everything's showing up randomly. I wish everything would come all together, but if you guys haven't seen my previous video on this car, I was telling you guys it has a bad rear driver's side window regulator, because the window, it will roll down, but it will not go back up. And to push it back up, you just pull the switch up, and it goes up easily, but it's definitely broke. So I have a new window regulator. I have a crank seal saver, and that kind of goes hand in hand with this BMW tensioner. I have a new belt and a pulley kit on the way as well. So when the oil filter housing and gaskets leak on these cars, they leak directly onto the belt. You can see everything's real tight in here, but it will leak on the belt. There's been cases where the belt will get wet and it will slip off the crank pulley. And the crank pulley has like a flange on it that faces like the front of the car. Most of the time you'd think of a flange on a pulley, it would be, facing the engine side of the car, but it doesn't. So when the belt starts shredding, or if it breaks, that flange kind of keeps the belt in track between the pulley and the front cover of the engine. So when it shreds and breaks, it'll jam up and it will push itself through the front seal, and then the belt will find its way inside the oil pan. And that is catastrophic, because you have all this rubber material going inside your oil pan. Your pickup tube could suck that up, then it's going to starve of oil, bearings are going to go immediately. And I've even heard that the belt can get up into the oil pump chain and actually throw the car at a time. And both of those are catastrophic. So like I said, I don't know the service history on this car. I would love to be able to get underneath it, take the skid plate off, and see if it already had one of those crank savers, because it does not look fun to get to. You gotta have the right amount of wobble sockets and extensions to get to it. And the bolts on BMWs are apparently, I think they're cast aluminum, but they are for a fact aluminum, but they're pretty poor quality. They're very lightweight and they break easy. Like, the torque on this valve cover is very, very low, and most people just kind of torque them with their wrist strength, just kind of feel for it. I'm gonna use a 1/4 inch ratchet and just kind of snug it a little bit. And of course, a torque wrench is the proper way to do it, get the exact torque spec, which is what I'm going to do. But as far as getting them, initially started, it's just going to be minor wrist strength. But so speaking of those bolts, there's 2 of them that need to come out to put the crank saver on. Same thing, they're E-torques, they're cast aluminum. Got to be easy with them. I watched a video of a guy taking one out, and he snapped the bolt into it was still stuck into the timing cover, or the front cover, and he had to take a freaking drill and tap it out, so or extract it out, I mean, and I don't want to go through that. So if it's already been replaced, that would be awesome. It'd save me time. These are cheap, and it's definitely a cheap peace of mind if you guys are, you know, mechanically savvy. I don't carry a wrench on cars, but if I can avoid having to do something that's already been done, I'm gonna leave it alone. You know, the Index 12 injectors, that was a nice surprise. And that's a gamble you take on a car that you don't know its service history. It could have had Index 1 injectors in it, who knows. Not that it would be a big deal, you know. I knew what I was getting, $2,500. You know, the transmission could have went out the very next day or on the way home. That's the way it is. Used car market nowadays. You pay top dollar for junk. So I figured I would pay junk dollar for junk if that was the case. But it turns out this car is not really junk. And if you guys haven't seen my previous video, I'll just show you guys the interior really quick. It's been wrapped. I have the battery disconnected, so none of the interior lights are going to come on. But same wrap, carbon fiber is done to the trim in here. You can see the leather seats, good shape. Dash isn't cracked. Passenger seat, I'll show you guys. I have the seat belts buckled up because that chime is annoying, but that's one thing with the MHD dongle. You can download apps like Beamer Code onto your phone and disable the chime. Another thing I'm going to disable is the adaptive headlamp malfunction, because that's super annoying. But like I said, these cars are pretty cool when it comes to tuning, because you can do everything through your phone basically. So MHD, they have their own app. You can flash your car through your phone, because in the Mustang world, or even like the GM world with HP tuners, so Mustangs, and it's say Mopar, you have SCT tuners and Diablo Sport tuners, and they're handheld devices. They're separate devices. You have to buy around $400, hook it up to your car, flash it, and they're VIN locked. So if you ever want to sell your vehicle and try to make your money back with the tuner, you have to unmarry the tune from the car. So whatever modifications, whatever tunes on the car will be, you know, they won't work hand in hand with each other anymore, because the tune is going to be taken off of the PCM, because it just reflashes the PCM. So that tune gets taken away, and then it unmarries the handheld tuner. But get this, you only have 5, like, I guess, marriage licenses. So if you were to unmarry it 5 times, or marry it and unmarry it 5 times, then the device is locked. You have to go through SCT, whoever, and get those unlocks back. So with MHD, what I'm trying to get to is it's not fixed to one VIN, I'm pretty sure. So I know like the Beamer Code and Beamer Link, those are other apps you can download on your phone, and they're not VIN locked. So if you have 5 BMWs, you can use that on all 5 of those BMWs. You just have the one dongle, you just switch it back and forth. Like the MHD dongle does not register to that VIN, so it's not VIN locked and not PCM locked to that VIN basically. So you can read other computers as long as it's BMW and you use like Beamer Code, Beamer Link, stuff like that. The way I'm describing it's probably super confusing. I don't know how to really summarize it, but anyway, in summary, MHD flasher, the way you can code these, do live data and stuff, is better than like what I'm used to with the SCT tuners and stuff. Anyway, I just keep rambling and I'm talking in circles here, but yeah, here's the interior. And one thing I wish this car had was heated seats. It does not have heated seats, but like I said, $2,500, can't complain. It does have heat in general and AC, all that works. All the electronics work except for this window regulator, and I gotta replace the motor on this driver mirror. It does not work. It's like, I guess it's fried, but the sunroof works. Everything else works. That cup holder, the middle one there, it's sticking out. It's broke. I don't know if it needs a spring or a new assembly, but I have it kind of pushed out, so you can still pull it out and use it. It's just if you push it back in flush, you have to take like a small pick and pull it back out. But the very far right one, it works perfect. You push it in, the spring still works. Like I said, minor quirks, not end of the world stuff. Belt, gaskets, belt, tensioner pulleys. This car has 175,000 miles on it, and in my previous video of this car, if you guys haven't watched it, there's a video of it idling. You know, I can't start it up for you guys obviously, but it sounds super smooth. You hear the injectors, which that's normal with a direct injected car. They kind of make this, you know, ticking sound. It sounds like a top rider, but that's completely normal. But as far as valve train noise, bottom end noise, that's stuff you want to walk away from. This car doesn't have any of those issues. So yeah, these inky wheels, at first I didn't like them, but they're kind of growing on me. They don't look that bad. And someone has painted the brake calipers too red, which I think looks good. It, you know, gives it more of a sporty look. Like I said, this front lip gives it a sporty look. The yellow fog light housings I have on the way, when I get those finishing rods, paint them black. And I have a duckbill on the way. It's like an M series style. I think it's just gonna give it, it's not overly aggressive. I don't want to rust this thing out, but I want it to, you know, just have a little more of a personal look to it. Because these cars look kind of bland. Like, I can't believe how much of a difference that front lip made on this car. Because these cars, you know, originally just, you know, they just look like your run-of-the-mill BMW. Not that that's a bad thing, just to me, I kind of want more of a, you know, like, hey, this guy, he put that on, you know, he's a car person to an extent, you know, he's taking the time to put cosmetic details on his car, you know what I mean. You can see this headlight right here, this one's aftermarket. I'm pretty sure this one's OEM. I really do like the way this one looks. I like to find a set of those and just replace them both, and that's why the adaptive headlamp malfunction is going on. I'm pretty sure these cars, you know, originally when you turn the steering wheel, the headlights turn with it. It's really cool. My Cadillacs had that, but you know, it's a feature to go bad, and sure enough, I don't know if it essentially went bad, but it has been disabled and replaced with this aftermarket headlight. So that's why I'm gonna use that Beamer code I was telling you guys about and disable that. But yeah, so here is, I told you guys I'd keep you updated with this car, and this is the, you know, the latest on it. I'm probably going to be pumping out a lot of content with this car, since it's going to be my daily, and I'm just going to be wrenching on it, bringing up the maintenance basically. So once that valve cover comes in, I'm just going to go ahead and replace it. I still need to go and source a very long socket to undo the last 3 10mm nuts. Can you believe it? I'm just 3 nuts away, or 3 bolts. I don't know how those studs work, but just 3. And then this thing, I'm gonna have to pry on it. I'm sure it's probably the original valve cover, and it's probably stuck on there really good. But yeah, guys, I'm pretty excited with this car. You know, I think it'll be a lot of fun, especially for a little daily driver, and something that you don't have that much money invested into, so you don't feel as bad if something catastrophic was to happen. You know, like when you spend $25,000 to $30,000 on a GT500, and if the transmission or the engine was to blow, that hurts way more than something, you know, 10 times cheaper than that, $2,500. Like, hell, I got so much money left over from, well, I wouldn't say money left over, but money saved compared to spending $25,000 on a car. You don't care to buy 3 transmissions just to have laying around, or 3 engines laying around, because you have all the extra money. But yeah, I'm gonna try to back up and show you guys that front lip. I think it looks really good. You can see the roof of this car is nice and gloss. I'm gonna upload a picture and show you guys what it looked like originally if you didn't see it in my last video. It is pretty bad. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about this car. If there's anything you guys, like I said, seasoned BMW owners, especially guys with 335i's and or any N54 experience, please chime in. I love hearing from people that's had first-hand experience, quirks and stuff. Tell me what socket you guys used to remove those studs if I don't find one already. I heard the Harbor Freight sockets work, and I already have a set, and it does not work on this particular car. I don't know if they changed the socket design throughout the years or not, but it will not fit. So anyways, I can't wait to get that replaced. Hopefully that fixes the issue. Like I said, those aluminum valve covers, they are considered an upgrade, but I think they're cast in China. You know, it's a Chinese part, Some people have great luck with them. I've heard a lot of good things in the forums and Facebook groups about them. And I've heard good things about the plastic replacements as well. I just figured aluminum would be a little safer of a bet. It wouldn't be as prone to cracking over time, I wouldn't think, since aluminum kind of expands and contracts with the heat, and the rest of the engine's all aluminum, so maybe it would work hand in hand. I don't know. I'm just trying to use simple logic here, but hopefully, like, the casting is good. The thing's true. Like, it's not gonna be warped straight out of the box. And then if you have a warped valve cover, it doesn't matter what kind of gasket you have, it's not gonna seal. And then you're just gonna have a huge leak, and this thing already has a massive leak. So we're working one leak at a time here. We have one major. This is first and foremost, guys. If you are looking at N54, make sure this is not leaking, and if it is, get the thing home and start tearing it apart. Replace that, because like I said, that belt, I'm not making that that is an actual issue. It's the belt can push to the front sill. When I was reading about it and had buddies tell me about that, I didn't believe it, because who would design a car like that? BMW, I can't really say I agree with some of their ideas, like the M3s and the rod bearings with the V10s and V8s. They're a maintenance item. Why, BMW? Why do you do stuff like that? You can make a great looking car, a great sounding car, because those V10s and V8s sound amazing. And their transmissions, especially the DCTs, are awesome. Oh, and a 335D, I would love to have one of those. They look just like this car, but they're a diesel. So, I don't know. BMW, they have some awesome ideas, and then sometimes they just add this massive Achilles heel to their car. It's just, why? But yeah, so I don't know. You guys might learn a lot about BMWs if you stick around. Some of you guys may be disgusted with me, but like I said, a beater with the heater, $2,500, and it's a fun little daily too. It's not every day you can find a twin turbo inline six car, and it's rear wheel drive. So, the cool factor is still there, whether or not you hate BMW or not. Because, like I said, I wasn't into BMWs, but can't complain with the package that you're getting for the price that I gave for this car. And I'm not saying that, like, the only reason I bought it is because it was super cheap. It's, because, I don't know, it sounds like I'm condescending, like, oh, well, this is cheap, like everyone else that's paying more for this exact car is an idiot. No, I just got super lucky. Like, I wouldn't hesitate at all. I don't know how this car would be worth, like, if it's completely fixed up and stuff, but if I knew the stuff I'm doing to it, and if someone had the proof to follow up on it, like, hey, the valve cover's been done, index 12 injectors, all this stuff, I wouldn't hesitate to pay like $5,500 for it, because it is higher mileage, but the car and the body's in great shape, and it has decent mods, especially as far as maintenance items go, like the index 12 injectors, brand new oil filter housing gasket and stuff like that. I wish that stuff was already done. Oh, and a brand new battery, because this car had a dead battery and I bought it, and I had to register that battery to the car, so I'm doing everything the way you're supposed to do. Like I said, there's no excuse nowadays with the internet, because you can figure out exactly what you need to do and how to fix it, and you can find like troubleshooting tips. So, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going to make sure if I'm going to do it once, I'm going to do it right. The valve cover, some of you guys may comment and say I'm stupid. I should have just went OEM, and that's also something else you can do. I was speaking about FCP Euro earlier. You can get the entire valve cover and gasket set through them. It's expensive because the OEM cover is like $400, $500, and you get these aluminum ones for like $150. So, yeah, I'm being frugal there. It's another gamble, but if you really wanted, if you had the extra money to spare and didn't care to do things, right, like I said, buy once, cry once. You have that lifetime warranty with FCP Euro. So if for some reason the valve cover gasket started leaking, just go ahead and get a whole new valve cover and gasket assembly sent to you. It's worth paying those prices just for that warranty, guys, honestly. But definitely, if you guys are looking into BMWs, make sure that you bookmark FCP Euro. And guys, I'm not sponsored by anyone or anything. I'm just giving shout outs to really great car community guys, like, it's awesome that they take care of their fan base like that. Even with the SRT4s, Modern Performance used to be the go-to place, and now looking back at the forums and stuff, it's like that place is, like, the SRT4 is just losing support. STK Motorsports, I never liked those guys to begin with, but now they're really screwing people over apparently. So it's hard to find good customer support and part support for cars nowadays, especially as they get older. Dang, guys, I'm just rambling away. I'm at 35 minutes here. It depends on how much editing I do. See how much of this really stays in this video, because I'm just talking so much. But I guess I'm going to end it here, guys. This is the progress so far. Like I said, update. Second video on this car. Very thorough so far. But let me know what you guys think about it. And if you have any tips and tricks and what else I should look for and look out for and something I should replace, let me know. Definitely like hearing from the N54 veterans that's been out there. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.